Okay, this, what we see here, right, is the beginning of a three-part trail that includes a spice garden, archaeological excavation site, and the Iskandar Shah or Ra, something like that, where it's supposed to be the palace of one of the Malay sultans in the past. This place, as you look around, is free for visitors to enter, it's free for visitors to leave. People are free to come and go as they like. So this is a place where it's open to the public. Interestingly, based on the description here, and even as we walk, this is the Spice Garden, right? This was considered one of the first botanical gardens in Singapore. Not that I want to give a summary about this, but I never knew about this. All of us, my group, didn't know about this before we came here. We all thought that the first botanical gardens was in Botanical Gardens, right? So, okay, look, just continue, look, just keep walking, you see. All these kind of things. There are various types of plants here. There are various, for example, you have pandan leaf, you know. This is where they first learned how to make nasi lemak. And, that's rubbish. But anyway, yeah. So, I think, right, this is one of the places set up, one of part of Fort Canning Park, which was set up, right, for people like us, visitors, foreigners and Singaporeans alike, to find out more about the colonial history and the colonial past of Singapore. Whether or not it's constructed by the government, we never know, but at least it offers us an insight into what was here already in the past. So, yeah.
Here lies the Keramat Iskandar Shah. A Keramat is a traditional burial ground of a revered leader. We don't really know who was buried here, although some people believe this to be the resting place of Iskandar Shah, one of the rulers of Temasek. We believe that this exhibit is also against the hypothesis, as we are unable to see any economic value for this display. They do not charge a fee for the entrance, nor place any advertisements around it. Rather, the viewers of the Keramat would first notice the 14th century style Malay roof called the pendopo, which is supported by 20 wooden pillars carved in a fighting cock motif of a Javanese origin. We believe such exquisite carvings actually retain the rich cultural value of this place.
Located on the middle slope of Fort Canning Park is this interesting archaeological excavation site that three of us have found. As this place is historically, it's located near the Keramat Iskandar Shah, which is the palace of the Sultan. So you see that there is a living archaeological site, which means that the archaeologists are actually still digging for artifacts that can be found. Look at the first layer, it's the colonial wall. One, there's two signifying the red soil from 1819, and the third part is 14th century layer brick. Yep. So which some kind of soil that's from 14th century. Okay, continue looking. Oh, surrounding this place, right? This is a deeply interesting place. Are these kind of boards that explains to us about archaeology, about the history of Singapore, and all the boards have descriptions, you know, that are in Mandarin, in Malay, in Tamil, and of course in English, which helps, which I believe is something that the government has come up with, Fort Canning Park has come up with to cater to the locals, the foresters, you know. So it's interesting. You know, this place helped my group discover so much more about Singapore. And if you look at this place, they actually have a place where they store the artifacts, where everything is found. Here you have colonial artifacts, you know, you have glass, Chinese coins, so and so forth, glass. Yeah, Chinese coins from the Song Dynasty, from all different types of age, all found here at this place. You know, we never knew that Singapore had such a rich cultural history. You have porcelain, greenware, and all. And remember, every single one of these exhibits, they all have this kind of description papers which allow us as visitors, as Singaporeans, to find out more about the country, about this place in Fort Canning. Yep. Ends with pre-1819 historical timeline of Singapore that allows us to find out what happened from the 13th century all the way to 1834. There was Sang Nilima Utama and blah blah blah, so and so forth. And look at the brochures. Interestingly, one side of it that tells us that it's for the visitors, right? We have brochure in Chinese, in Malay, in English, and we actually have a brochure in Japanese. So this suggests that this could potentially be a tourism site as well for Japanese to come. But why would Japanese come here? I don't really know. Yep. So so this is just the whole place the whole setup of the place, and I think it helps supports our hypothesis that it disapproves the hypothesis whereby we don't see much economical value in this place because people are not charged, but it genuinely teaches us a lesson about history and about the culture here, or whatever the government wants us to believe. So, yeah, this is a part of the history that we find out about.
Even as the archaeological site enriched us and helped us to learn a lot about Singapore history and all the artifacts that are found when all the researchers came here and dig, one thing that we realized placed all around the walkway in the archaeological site are little A4 size laminated pictures, right, where it talks about how venues in Fort Canning Centre are for rent, you know, and these venues include things like the Fort Canning Green, the Fort Gate where you can actually hold your weddings, and even the picnic terrace and many more. So actually they actually place a lot of these all these A4 size laminated sheets around, and with the numbers attached, as you guys can see on the pictures that we have taken, right, where you can actually organize group tours, we can actually organize outings for tourist attractions. So we see a snippet, you know, of how even in the archaeological site whereby it's supposed to be historical, very rich, very deep, you know, we actually see a lot of just a snippet not a lot, okay, just a snippet of how the economic function, how this place has been transformed to the economic function is showing is rearing its end. Floats at the Fort is located at the Hill Street end of Fort Canning Park. It is one of the cultural, historical heritage site that we were asked to visit. Okay, and it is a bungalow built in 1908. It used to be the home of the fire chief of colonial Singapore. And there, because it's located on the hill, it has a clear view of Dhoby Ghaut. It has a clear view of the central fire station, allowing the fire chief to respond to emergencies quickly and decisively. But in recent years, the place has been changed to this restaurant called the Flute. No, not the Flute. Called Flutes at the Fort. This is a place where it's a atas and high-end restaurant, whereby a check at the website shows that from Monday to Friday, from 12 to 2 p.m, a two-course set lunch meal will cost a normal average person $28 plus, and three-course meal $32 plus. And once again, we see that how a culturally and historically significant site in Singapore has been converted into a restaurant, a high-end, high-class restaurant, whereby where it's changed into something whereby people can make money, where the business owners, the restaurant owner has taken over, you know, to be able to make money on a site that was originally culturally significant, now has become a site of business, you know. And how we can see that modernization, you know, as things change, as times progress, because you must understand that in this area in Fort Canning, this is quite a prime location in terms of the location is very prime. I mean, it's near town, right? Okay, so that's why I think modernization has transformed it from a cultural significant place to one with economic function. The battle box was the underground bomb-proof bunker of Britain's HQ Malaya Command during World War II. This was the place where many attacks and many defences and many strategic moves were made during the World War II by the Britain Command. And more significantly, this was the place where Singapore's surrender to the Japanese was actually undertaken. And interestingly, of course, this place holds a lot of cultural, historical significance to each and every Singaporean. And my team and I, when we were trying to start our trail, we realized that this was a place which we wanted to enter and wanted to explore. But to our horror, we realized that this was actually a place where we have to pay quite a high sum of money to enter. In fact, this is inside the battle box, according to the brochures that we picked up, right, there are actually wax figures. There are actually like life-size wax figures. There are a lot of artifacts inside that actually replicate and try to simulate what actually happened during that time. Try to reenact it, you know. But all these you have to be paid. And this place is actually run by the legends at Fort Canning, the Fort Canning Centre, you know, and it's very interesting because this actually supports the hypothesis that even places like this, whereby it's such a key moment in our history, you know, it's meant for tourists and locals alike to find out more, you know, about our past, about how we actually lost the war, and you know, and how we can actually find out more. They actually charge us for it, and how the government, rather than the main goal being to educate the Singaporeans about what to do, what happened during the wartime. You know, this is a place whereby the government is actually charging us, you know, locals and tourists alike, charging us a fee just to explore the place. And we can see further in the Quartermaster shop storeroom. They call it the Quartermaster storeroom, which is a souvenir shop. We took a few pictures of it. You know, this is a place whereby souvenirs are sold during that time, and quite high prices, you know, even like notebooks and posters, it's like $40+, $30+, you know, in an attempt to make some money off this in the government's attempt to make some money, or the company running it, you know, to make money off this very historically and culturally significant event in Singapore's history, you know. And therefore I think that for the battle box, our club concluded that this is a place that definitely supports a hypothesis whereby our government exploits the history and cultural value of a place and transform it into its economic function, even though it still serves its cultural value of educating us about history, but it comes at an economic cost. What we have just recorded right in front of us is the Fort Canning Green. This is situated right in front of the Fort Canning Centre. Interestingly, okay, this used to be a place where British Army barracks are constructed and where the British soldiers are gathered, and where they stayed. Today, right now, it's a place where it's converted to have music festivals and concerts, you know, and subsequently attached, based on some of our research, we found that even last year, F1 Rocks concert 2009, this was a place where the concert was held. Even up to August this year, the Smashing Pumpkins came here for a concert as well, you know. And we can see that how this goes against our hypothesis. Why? You know, how this supports our hypothesis. Why? Because this was a place where there's holds huge cultural significance for our country and to know more about our culture, our colonial past. But yet it has been converted to a place where concerts can be held, where money can be earned, and you know, where people can gather and pay money for concerts. So this is a place whereby it has been highly commercialized, even though it just looks like an empty green field from here.